Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday night Loving Kindness class. My name is Alex. It is wonderful to be here with you again tonight. I'm coming from a little bit of a different location where I live, just because I just wanted to try it out. But this is this is my office and meditation room combo. So it is wonderful to be here with you. Why don't I have chat? Uh, pop out of chat. Okay, I guess if I pop it out. What am I gonna do? Just give me a second here. Okay. Okay. So Brian and Linda, hello. You're saying hello. I'm hope you guys are doing well. And so welcome to maybe just the last time I'm ever gonna do this remotely. Yeah, that'll be interesting. As you all probably heard the news, we're going to try opening up the temple on starting on Saturday, this Saturday. So Jeff's Saturday morning class will be the first class, and then we're just going to see how it goes. We're going to wear masks and have just kind of spaced out seating, and let's see what happens. But I'm looking forward to it certainly. So next Wednesday, I will actually be in the temple. I will be holding the class with people in the class, and I get to see your face through a mask, but hey, I'll take it. And I'm really looking forward to that. So, welcome to Jean. Hello, Lisa. Hope you guys are doing well. It's really interesting, when I first log in and I first go live here in the class. Um, uh, usually this is like 5 or 6 people, or how whatever that number is, and then it goes down and then it goes up. Like, I wonder if people are getting kicked off or something like that for some reason. Hi, Sherry. Hope you're doing well. Um, anyway, but if you've ever had an issue with like just kind of being kicked out of the chat or being kicked out of the class or something like that, just let me know. We'll see how this works out. Also, over the weekend, I got a new laptop because my previous one that I still have, but it was just old, like 7 years old and slow and all those different types of things. I'd click go live or take a picture, and it would just take forever to do that, But on this new one, which is seems to be pretty decent, so I'm happy about that too. All right, so you guys, and now we're back up. Good, I'm down. So uh, if you don't know this to do already, um, say hello. We've had a few people say hello before. So whether you're new or whether you're not new, it doesn't really matter to me. Just say hi. If you are new, let me know where you're from. We've had people from Ireland, from Hungary, all over the place. And so it's interesting to know where people are logging in from. Hello, Tamara. And Jean says there's often a delay. I drop off and rejoin, and then I can hear you. Eric asked, "Hello, do we need to reserve for Wednesdays?" Yes. And Jeff on his either his I know he did it on his personal one, but also on the Dharma Bum Temple like Facebook site. Uh, there is like a reservation thing you can click, and you can make the reservation there. So it's Daniel. I just answered that question. Yeah, and welcome. Uh, unless you were in under a new name, Daniel, you look new to me. So there you go. Welcome. All right. Any other questions before I go on to the next part here? YouTube makes you sign in to comment, but you can watch without signing in. So I had to leave and sign in to say hi. I forgot all about that. Yeah, you probably would have to sign in just to say hi or to engage in the chat. Makes sense. All right, good. I'm glad to know that. I've only ever been the presenter, not like the person watching. So, you know. All right. All right, so you guys, anything else before we start the second part? Nope, I guess not. That's okay. All right. So, as you know, this is a loving kindness class, a meditation on loving kindness, and we're going to do this. And one of the things that I'm hearing a lot um, in general um, is really a validation to the way I do this class. Traditionally, the way they do loving kindness is you do loving kindness for yourself, and then you do loving kindness for a loved one, someone close to your heart, and then you do it for a neutral person, someone a little farther away, and then you do it for the enemy, and then you do it for all beings. And it's that kind of progression. And I talked more than once about why that doesn't necessarily work for the West or for the US, however you want to look at it, because so many of us in this country, um, we're conditioned to not have loving kindness for ourselves at all, and to look at loving kindness for yourself as something that's selfish, the bad kind of selfish. And in Buddhist, there's a good kind of selfish and a bad kind of selfish. The bad kind of selfish is more self-seeking and what's in it for me. And the good kind of selfish is really more, hey, I need to purify my own heart if I'm ever to help somebody else. So it is selfish, but it's the good kind of selfish. But selfish meaning and selfish in their and how most people understand it, it's not that way at all. you know and a lot of people have a great deal of trauma that they're trying to process. And this kind of makes sense because every when I was doing it the other way, a lot of times when I would say, okay, when we're doing this practice, this loving kindness practice for the enemy, don't go for the biggest, baddest enemy you have. Don't go for the mortal enemy. And a lot of people say they have a mortal enemy. Uh, but I say, don't go for the mortal enemy. Go for the person that is just a little bit annoying, you know, and just start there, right? And just wish that person goodwill. You don't even have to call it loving kindness at this point. That's not a translation that you necessarily want to use for this part of the meditation. Just call it goodwill for a minor annoyance. And invariably, people would automatically just go for like the big bad enemy, the mortal enemy. And this actually makes a lot of sense coming from a country that has a lot of people that experienced a lot of trauma, early in their lives. And um, and so because of this and because of the way that we're conditioned, and what I'm hearing from a lot of psychologists are, very radical things that seem radical to me. Um, would seem radical to me before, and that you don't have to do like or forgiveness or loving kindness or compassion for if you've been abused, for your abuser. You don't have to do that to heal or to start healing. Mostly what you need is you need to have these feelings for yourself, so you don't keep on replaying these thoughts over and over and over and over. And that was like a really big validation for me because, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor. It was just that, from what I'm seeing in a lot of people and from my own personal experience, it's not terribly useful to do this practice for the enemy. For some people, it is. For maybe even for a lot of people, it is. If you really understand that start small concept, you know. But for a lot of people, doing something for the enemy, they're going to go back to an abusive time, and it's just going to be, especially if you have PTSD or complex PTSD, it's just going to be counterproductive, absolutely positively counterproductive. So I don't do it. And maybe I'll do it again at some point. I probably will, but for now I'm just going to keep on doing it like I've been doing it because I've gotten a lot of validation from these professionals. So um, I wanted to kind of say that first, before we kind of move on actually with our meditation, because it's really important to understand why you were not doing this for the enemy. Um, and you don't have to, you don't absolutely don't have to forgive and have these warm and fuzzy feelings for, abusers. You don't, in order to heal. It doesn't have to happen. All right. So let's get in your meditation position. All right. Doesn't look like we have any other questions. Looks like you could see me okay. So let's begin. So just allow yourself to just close your eyes, making sure you have that position that's nice and comfortable for you, nice and sustainable, so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can even imagine yourselves as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, whatever tree that is for you. You can make up your own tree of enlightenment, ready for the days abiding. And this is something the Buddha often did. Now it's taking a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing the breath, letting it be quite easy and quite natural at first. The breath is energy. And so just feel where the energy is in your body or where there's a lack of energy in your body. And if you want, you can direct energy to those parts of the body that might be a little bit stagnant to kind of wake you up and get you ready for this loving kindness meditation. So just for the next couple of moments, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath, following the breath in and following the breath out. And so, to begin our formal practice of loving kindness, we're first going to choose a benefactor. And a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love and great kindness. Someone it's really easy to have these feelings of loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, and goodwill for. You just think of this person and you could smile. So just call this person or people to mind. You can even picture them in your mind's eye. And the only thing that you have to do is radiate loving kindness towards them. And however you understand that word radiate, it could be a beam of loving kindness from your heart to theirs. It could be like microwaves or or other kind of waves. And wishing happiness for this person or these people, and wishing that they do the things that cause happiness. Maybe even putting a smile on your face when you do. So, for the next few moments, we'll do this practice of loving kindness for our benefactor. Now, shifting your focus just a little bit from doing this practice for your benefactor to now imagining your benefactor doing this practice for you. And it could be the same benefactor, it could be a different one. And all you have to do is receive all of their loving kindness, and they're going to be radiating loving kindness to you, wishing happiness for you, wishing you happiness, and wishing you do the things that cause happiness, your positive thoughts, words, and actions. And it could be that same beam of loving kindness, or however you did it for them, they can do it for you. And if there's any part of your heart that's resisting their loving kindness, that's okay. You can put your hand over your heart, maybe breathing in a little more deeply. And can you kind of soften any tightness in your heart from receiving this loving kindness? And so nice and easy, just for the next few moments, we'll imagine our benefactor doing this practice of loving kindness for us. Now, again, shifting our focus, we can now begin to do this practice of loving kindness for ourselves. And so just imagine your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be safe, free from danger, healthy, and just be at ease. And if you want, you can just direct this loving kindness back onto yourself, or you can just repeat very gentle phrases of loving kindness for yourself. One or more of them, phrases like, may I be happy, may I be safe from inner and outer danger, may I be well in body and mind, may I be at peace and live at ease in this world. And if you want, you can even keep your hand over your heart, just gently listening for and softening any tension, any resistance you may feel. And so we'll do this for the next few moments, having loving kindness and practicing loving kindness for ourselves. And finally, we can do this practice and explore the limitless quality of the heart by doing this practice for all beings in all directions, whatever living beings there may be, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, those seen and unseen, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. And just go out as far as you can, just wishing loving kindness, wishing unconditional friendliness and goodwill for all beings. And we'll end our meditation with this. Just open your eyes when you're ready. And just taking the next moment or two out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs. Keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. And then we will begin. So we'll just kind of hang on for like 45 seconds. How about that? Mhm. Oh, all right, you guys. That was a little annoying for me. I don't know if you heard it, but the fan on my laptop was just kind of going nutso and just was kind of making a lot of noise. And I don't know if you heard it, but I certainly heard and I certainly noticed it. And so, part of what I was doing during the meditation is after I gave a specific instruction, I got on, I tried to do something about it, but I would have had to did some Googling and I didn't really want to do that in the middle, right, of a meditation. So, um, but I did something later on towards the end that kind of quieted it down. It's quiet now, so it's okay. So I apologize for that if you heard a lot of noise coming from my end. And so um, oh, I heard it. But thank you for letting me know, Gene. Appreciate that. So this is the part of a class where we can certainly have a discussion on either what I talked about earlier. If you have any questions about Buddhism, about meditation, about whatever else you have questions on, uh, try to keep it to Buddhism, of course. Um, and then, yeah, or if you want to talk about, what uh, what your experience of meditation was, I'm always interested to know what that is. Sometimes like this last time, I was like, all I could hear was the fan. All I could hear is the fan. It was just like driving me just bonkers. But I'm glad you didn't hear it. Or if you want to let me know kind of how you're doing in general, are you going to, come to class in person next week? Because I'm going to be there. I may not remember what anybody looks like in a mask or not in a mask, but hey, you can tell me who you are. It's been a while since Daniel says it's been a while since I attended a session, so good to be back. I've been reading the Pali Canon a lot during the pandemic, and I was wondering if you'd recommend a Theravada early Buddhist temple. So, they have some Theravada, places to go to, but they're all mostly like a Lao temple or a Thai temple or a Vietnamese temple. But what I would recommend, Daniel, if you could go to Metta Forest Monastery, it's up in Valley Center. I don't know exactly what how open they are. So if they are even accepting people or not, but I would definitely check that out. That's a really good place. Ton Jeff there, he has talks all the time. When everyone's in session and everyone's been vaccinated, I would imagine they've been vaccinated. Um, but yeah, And so there was a question about, what sort of meditation is loving kindness meditation? Is it contemplation or is it a one-pointed meditation? And all of these meditations are a form. Loving kindness meditation is a heart meditation. It's a heart meditation that has a mindfulness aspect to it. Um, you know, in the Buddhist tradition, in the Theravada tradition, we focus a lot on the heart practices. So there's loving kindness, which is the first of the heart practices. And then the next two are functions of loving kindness. So the next one would be compassion. And compassion happens when loving kindness runs into suffering, right? It wants that suffering to stop. And the next one is empathetic joy. And that's what happens to loving kindness when it runs into joy. It wants that joy to continue, right? It wants that joy to continue. And so the fourth one is equanimity, and equanimity just kind of ties all the other ones together, and it helps you to understand you can only do what you do, and it helps you to not be so worried about things that you can't control. You know, and that's really really hard when you see a whole lot of suffering and you know there's nothing that you can do about it. You know, and you can have compassion for that without having your heart and your mind kind of run away and get like kind of overloaded with that. And so you could say it's kind of a contemplation in a way. I don't necessarily like to think of it that way, but I just like to look at it as um, uh, mindfulness of loving kindness. But essentially it's a heart. It's specifically a heart practice. It's a heart practice. Um, Eric says that was helpful for me. Thanks. I've been feeling a lot of bitterness the last week. The term content was useful. Happy seemed too far a reach. Yeah. So that's the great thing about these meditations and these strategies for liberation. You can use words that make more sense to you, like in the loving kindness meditation. Sometimes you might want to use or think about loving kindness. Sometimes you might want to think about unconditional friendliness, and sometimes neither of those two make any sense for you, like if you're doing it for like a neutral person or an enemy and you just want to think about the word goodwill, a wish to be happy. You can have goodwill for anybody, and it's not going to interrupt anything that you're doing for yourself or you're feeling for yourself, right? And so, in this kind of same vein, if you want to use the term content, yeah, absolutely, you could do that. Um, Thank you. Daniel says, "Do you plan to bring back the Theravada class in DBT?" Yeah, Travis was doing that, and that was the Thursday class, and I think they are doing that. I don't know exactly why that stopped long term or why that stopped altogether. And I don't know. I just do this. I just do this class, and it's not my business, so I didn't ask. But I do. I was talking to Jeff earlier, and I think he said that they're going to bring it back on Thursday. When that's going to happen, I don't know. That might be a question for him. Um, it also might be a really good idea just to log in or to either log in or to come to the Saturday class, and uh, he'll probably ask a question. You could ask a question, and he'll probably give you the answer to that. Has anyone felt like Eric was talking about I've been feeling a lot of bitterness the last week. Um, and I don't know what that is, but a lot of things have happened to me, like during the pandemic. A lot of things I've had a lot of time to contemplate. I've had a lot of time to contemplate, and I find myself, um, not always, but um, every once in a while, getting angry for about things that happened years and years and years and years ago. Things that I thought that I wouldn't even think about getting angry about. That I can't believe just kind of came bubbling up to the surface. And it's really interesting when you have a lot of time, those things that haven't necessarily been healed spring up again. And maybe some of the things have, and maybe some of them haven't, but probably some of them haven't. And I wonder if anyone else has kind of felt that, because it's been really an interesting experience for me. Um, I'm kind of doing my own thing, and all of a sudden these feelings come up, and I've been searching for answers. It's very it was very surprising. I'll just say that it's very surprising. Um, so Nick says, "What if you're not able to bring up any good feeling at all during this meditation?" That's a really good question, Nick. Because sometimes you're not in either you're not in the mood, or you try, you don't even know what mood you're in, but you try and you can't do it. And so that's kind of the reason I do the meditation the way that I do it, to try to call to mind a benefactor. And you know, if this radiating thing is just not working for you, then what I would suggest, and this is not abnormal at all, what I would suggest is kind of going back to phrases. And this is where, using a very a skillful kind of phrase can really come in handy. And you can just say, you know, may you be happy. I'm not saying you necessarily have to believe it, especially if it's just not in your heart right then and there. You can say, um, I give my goodwill to you, or may you have goodwill. You can just use that word because it's not a lovey-dovey word like loving kindness, unconditional friendliness. It's simply just goodwill. It's a wish for you to be happy. May you be happy, you know? And so I would suggest that, if like because radiating could be very heart centric, especially the way that I teach it. So yeah, just do a phrase. And don't it doesn't have to be a lovey-dovey phrase like may you, like may you have loving kindness or something like that. And experiment with what's going to work for you. And remember that you don't have to make something happen. You don't have to make your heart warm, especially if you're just not in that place. You just have to realize that, I'm not in this place right now, but I'm going to try to do something that is going to work for me. And that's why I like this word goodwill a lot, because goodwill is just to do the things that cause happiness. Or just I have you just or you don't even have to think about it like that. Just say, you know what? I wish you goodwill. Goodwill. You have goodwill. It's usually a bit more palatable. So give that a try and see if that does anything. Emma says used to sort of take happiness as a given or a birthright. Lately, not so much. Forgotten made a dinner date for next Wednesday, either so we'll see you either 2 weeks from tonight or maybe another class. Okay, cool. Absolutely. Eric says radiating wasn't working for me. I used phrases, which actually helps me focus because I have to think of the next phrase and try to feel the intent. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of what I was saying. Um, you use may you be content, wise, and healthy, feel at peace. Yeah, absolutely. Um, And uh, and that's the other thing about, I give you some phrases to that are relatively traditional, but you can use any phrase that you want, so long as it has a loving and a kind intention behind it. That's it, a loving and a kind intention. Mm. It doesn't have to be kind of over the top or anything like that, especially if you're not feeling it. So don't try to make anything happen. I think that would be a bit counterproductive. Well, you guys, I certainly look forward to seeing you next week or the week after in Tamara's case. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what this does. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not really worried about it at all. Um, I'll still probably wear my pajamas, which I have on right now, and because why ruin a good tradition? And yeah, it's going to be good. Again, it's going to be good to see a lot of you, and we appreciate your classes during the difficult time. Thank you. Hopefully, we will meet you soon when we feel more comfortable meeting in person. Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, really quickly, Jeff asked me, do I want to do the streaming as well as the in person? So, well, while doing the in person class, just filming it. And I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. I have no problem. So I think it's going to be streamed next week too. If you're not comfortable coming, I'm pretty sure it's going to be streamed as well. Okay. And if you're not comfortable coming to the temple yet, don't. Yeah. But if you want to, hey, happy to see you. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Let's join our palms together at our heart, please. And may the benefit of this meditation, this discussion, be received by all beings in all directions. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. And may all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are, that you are. All right, guys, thank you for coming. Uh, we'll see you in person or online next week, whichever is best for you. Yeah, the camera should just show the speaker, not anybody else. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye now.